Hey, welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast presented by PointsBet, where you can get up to 2 bets, up to $2,000, with that code CHGO, which if you're watching on YouTube, you can see up on the corner of your screen. What's going on, Nick? Happy Thursday to you.
Happy Thursday, Adam. It's a little different here today.
It is eerily quiet. I don't know what happened.
Everybody and their grandmother was here, yesterday, and now
they left.
There's 4 total people.
It's when we used to do the show at 11 a.m., it would be quiet, but still, not even this quiet. This is
so weird.
It almost feels like we're not doing a live show right now, even though I'm pretty sure we are.
Yeah, no, it does feel like that.
I think there are people still watching. But, yeah, we're here, and we have another team to preview today. We have another player to break down from a grades perspective, and we have another player who got arrested. So
yeah,
we need to break all that down too. A little bit of stadium news maybe coming through right now as well. Not really news, but just sort of information. So we'll talk about some visuals have dropped on the social medias. And we will try to bring those to you momentarily as well. But Nicholas Moreano next to me. My name's Adam Hoge. You know the deal here on CHGO, the Bears Podcast. Yeah, yesterday was a very busy day here. We had, I meant to take a video and I forgot, but I thought it was really cool if you guys could envision our space here, right in front of us, but half of it over here was the Cubs side, where we had the Cubs game on, and Cody and Luke watching the game over there. And then on that side, we had the Sox game on, and Herb and Sean. Actually, more people were definitely watching the Sox game over there.
True.
Kind of felt bad for Luke and Cody. They were just kind of off by themselves. Nobody cares about the Cubs.
Or honestly, I could say it's almost the same with the White Sox, how they've been playing. But yes, how it was in the studio, there was more on my left.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So dueling shows going on. We had the Fire show. I think partly why it's quiet is the NHL draft today.
That is right, yeah.
And we got some stuff coming up with the Blackhawks crew later on.
And the Bulls guys are down in Vegas right now, covering everything that's going on there. So, yeah, it makes sense why it's a little bit more quiet today.
Yeah. Enrique tells us that it is 62 days until NFL kickoff. Is that right? Yeah, that's about right.
Man, that's going to get here, Adam. That is going to get here. Once training camp happens, it'll be here.
Yeah. Well, I hate to break it to you, but once training camp gets here,
the season starts.
Well, it's Christmas in 3 days is what it feels like.
Yeah.
The whole thing just goes phew. I'd also like to point out, I'm not sure if this comment got thrown up on the screen or not, but I am not wearing jorts. These are actually...
Those are not jorts, yeah.
No, these aren't even close to jorts. This is actually a swimsuit, if we're being honest.
Those, yep.
It's
those
Carolina
are good.
Blue. They're hybrid pants.
I'll bring the jorts next time.
No, those are... I don't even own jorts. I do have a pair of these hybrid shorts that are closer to jean colors. But even those are still not jorts.
I'll bring them.
I can't say I've ever worn jorts in my life.
No, really?
No.
There was I think a middle school kind of fad going on, and then they came back at them.
No, they didn't.
They came back. I have 2 pairs at home, so I don't wear them now, but
yeah,
I'll make sure to bring them next time.
Also, apparently, my dad is watching today.
Hey.
And he's commenting on my shoes being dirty. Can you see that on the screen?
Oh, man, Adam, look at that.
They are kind of dirty.
Oh,
no.
A little bit.
Well, see, that's what happens.
You ever throw your shoes in the wash?
Yes, I do. I washed these a couple weeks ago. It works quite well.
It does,
Throw them in with a couple towels just to reduce the noise.
Yep.
Way to
do it.
That's all from Minnesota over the weekend. Well, okay, so we're going to preview the Jets today. We're supposed to do it yesterday. they're the next team up on the schedule. We will get to that. But there was a little bit of news this morning, something that actually happened a few days ago. But David Moore got arrested. As I say that, like, you should know who David Moore is. I legitimately did not know he was on the team.
I was having that conversation with Kevin Kaduck earlier. They were like, oh, he's still on the Bears. Maybe still on the Bears after today. But, yeah, I had to refresh my memory just to know that David Moore was actually there.
Yeah, I don't, compared to Byron Pringle and Matthew Adams, the two other players who got arrested this offseason, and their impact on the team, don't know that this registers as much. This does appear to be a little bit more serious charges against him. Yeah. We're talking about David Moore, wide receiver for the Bears. Maybe that's breaking news to you, as it was to me. I just legitimately do not remember seeing David Moore do anything in the offseason program.
No, and I couldn't, off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you what number, even like out there with the wide receivers. He obviously didn't show much, but yeah, but the bigger thing here though, Adam's like, that's 3 arrests though. Guys that were brought in.
Yeah.
And if you're Ryan Poles, like, this is all a reflection. How do you feel about this? Seeing like, this is the one time a year where you don't want to hear anything about any players, and yet it's happening.
So, look, first of all, I think it is important to point out that the players who've been arrested, none of them are players who got massive contracts. Mm-hmm. So even in the Byron Pringle situation, which I don't know if we have to start doing like arrest power rankings at this point, but I probably put that at the bottom in terms of the seriousness of. I don't know, but the point is, like, even he was on a 1-year $5 million deal, so it's not like these are players who, we're get on the books for $20 million this year. They're not players you're making huge investments on. In some ways, they're risks to begin with. And as long as they're low risks, I think as a general manager, you can probably put up with it. Is it a good look? No. Yeah. It's not a good look to have 3 players, all of whom you just signed. These are all players that are new to the roster, all get arrested in a few months span. I don't think that's a good look. Is it very consequential? Does it suggest a larger problem? I don't know. I don't necessarily think so yet. Mm-hmm. I think it raises some questions about character, but I also say that in the context of somebody who thought Ryan Pace should have made more risks.
True.
That there were players specifically in the draft, I feel like, that the Bears just crossed off completely because, and in some ways I get that, but you got to weigh the risk and reward in all these situations, right? I don't think the Kansas City Chiefs are regretting drafting Tyreek Hill.
No.
Okay, just for one example. I don't think the Bengals are regretting drafting Joe Mixon. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I do think that there were times in the last regime where there were missed opportunities because they weren't willing to take risks. I also, on the back end of that, though, think that those are risks where you took them and then the player he wasn't a problem.
Exactly, yeah.
From that point on.
Got in the right organization, kind of left that stuff behind him and found his way, kind of.
You're just always going to have instances that pop up. I get that. You can't avoid them all. But I think it says something like when Bill Belichick can bring in some players with trouble pass into that culture and they're not necessarily a problem while they're there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think we're still at the infancy stage of this new regime. It is certainly notable that 3 players have been arrested. And I think it maybe raises some questions about, or at least shows that the culture hasn't exactly been established So if you're going to take risks on players, that they stay out of trouble once they get there, if that makes sense.
No, it does. And this would be a way bigger story, like you were kind of mentioning, and if these were the high-profile guys, the guys that did have extensive contracts to who they are, but it isn't. And you just rather, like we were saying, you'd rather not see it, and it does happen to – it's going to happen to a lot of NFL teams throughout this long period of time where they have this off time to do what they want. Be around maybe the people that they were around before they got into the NFL, whatever it may be. But it is, once you kind of see the names piling up and they're all associated with the Bears, it's like, what's going on here? And we'll see Ryan Poles and the crew in a couple of weeks, and maybe who knows what can happen between now and then. But it is, I don't think like the other off seasons, like there was there weren't many rests.
There was. Boy.
Yeah, I'm like trying to.
Well, first of all, in the Ryan Pace era, you had the big Ray McDonald problem.
Yes, that was the big one.
So they took that risk. They put too much faith in a guy with a much longer history of problems. Yeah. That looked, quite frankly, like a ridiculous risk at the time. And then, sure enough, he didn't last like a month or two?
Maybe.
Before he got in trouble again and they had to cut their ties. Now, even in that case, it didn't really cost them anything. Mm-mm. It was a low risk from a financial standpoint. It was high risk from a PR
image
standpoint. Yeah. And then it just felt like from that point on,
no more.
They just, like, to their credit, hardly ever heard stories of players getting arrested, mm-hmm. but it also felt like, hey, they're so it is a tough balance. But I think what I'm trying to get at is a year from now, 2 years from now, whatever, how long it takes, you want to be able to take these risks and then also have the culture where they stay out of trouble. And mm-hmm. that's where, like, when sometimes, and I know I'm not going to bring you into this, I got accused of overreacting to the Byron Pringle thing for what he actually did. But this goes back to even, like, stuff that happens on the field. And the whole conversation about Javon Wims hitting a guy on the field. You have to have accountability. Mm-hmm. Okay? So I'm not saying the two other players got arrested because Byron Pringle didn't really face any accountability, because they're not exactly, you can't really necessarily connect the dots that closely.
Everyone's their own individual, too,
But if, just hypothetically, if Byron Pringle had been cut the next day, and I'm not saying he should have been, and mm-hmm.
Based on
what came out, I'm just saying if you had just cut your ties and been like, hey, this is our culture, we're not we're willing to take risks.
That's a strong
but
message.
It's no nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to get the attention of the rest of the players on the team. To potentially stay out of trouble. So, I'll be curious to see if there's any accountability here. They might be waiting to let the legal process play out. For example, Byron Pringle's court hearing, I don't even think it's till August 1st. But it's not a good start from this standpoint.
Not the best look. It really isn't. From, like you said, an image standpoint. But, yeah, we'll see what kind of happens from there. I also see they want a Papa Hoge and Papa Moreano guest host show when?
See, I don't know if they'll work together very well, though, because Papa Hoge has a great mustache.
Yeah, my dad,
not a mustache guy. We've learned that.
And that's why I don't have my mustache anymore.
So I don't know if that's gonna
Could have conflicting interests there. I have to work it out, though.
Yeah, hate to say it. Anyway, so that was the news from this morning. By the way, it was drug and weapons charges, according to reports down in Texas. David Moore got arrested in his hometown on July 4th. And there were some more details that came out, according to reports. He fell asleep in a Taco Bell. They found THC gummies and then, more importantly, some guns that were not legal.
Adam, he's back.
Oh, no. Bald guy on the balcony with no shirt on.
Or no clothes.
Like right questionable if there's pants.
He's back. Balcony man.
Your balcony guy is back up there. Don't look. You've had for those that weren't watching the show, what was that, about 3 weeks ago?
Man, probably now. Probably 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. We are in the heart of the West Loop here at our awesome CHGO studios. There happens to be some residences right across the street.
Enjoying the weather, enjoying
and by the way,
outside.
I have no knock on this guy because I would be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I was sitting out on my patio this morning. Now, granted, I had a shirt on, but I don't think there's anything wrong with not wearing a shirt.
Nope.
It's just the guy kind of resembles Matt Nagy a little bit. And he's right in your sight line as you're looking at me. That's really the biggest problem.
I cannot see you without seeing him.
Okay.
It's literally impossible.
Yeah.
So, yes.
All right. Do we have those photos, by the way, Sarah? Or
yeah, so if I just did, if we share the screen, I kind of, it's not letting me, like, download them. But would this be, do you think that's okay?
Yeah, that's fine. So I want to give credit to Danny Ecker because kind of right before we started going here, he got a hold of some photos of the Soldier Field area, some renderings. You may or may not be able to see these very well, but the bottom line is, okay, I don't know if there's more details that are going to come out on this, but the renderings that were shared of the Soldier Field / museum campus sure look like putting a Band-Aid on a bigger problem.
Yep.
Okay, as we scroll through these, if you're watching on YouTube, I'll try to describe them, those looking at the podcast. But there, you have the Northerly Island concert venue there, and it looks like they want to move it to the north lawn that's in between the Field Museum and Soldier Field, which right now is a street and a bunch of, like, walkway.
Yep.
That I think eases congestion. I'm also seeing on the island side, the Northern Island side, which is really a peninsula, by the way. It's not an island. The street is gone.
Yes.
There's more green space. I'm not exactly sure how people are getting to the Adler Planetarium. It's not even in the photo.
They took it away.
The bottom line is I'm seeing a lot less street and sidewalk area and more people, more congestion.
Yes, what we need.
And I'm not seeing anything that benefits, most importantly, the Chicago Bears.
No. Like, you want to have, like, family. I mean, obviously they put the people there to accentuate, like, hey, there's people gathering and having fun here, but what are you doing? You're just kind of there, and I don't know. All this seems like it's just, like you said, putting a Band-Aid on something that's not gonna work out here. But at least now we have some visuals.
Well, I mean, again, I go back to what are the Bears getting financially out of this? This all looks maybe good for the city, but what exactly is added here? You've moved the concert venue. Maybe made that a little bit more convenient to get to.
There's a picture I'm going to be putting up shortly, but there's, like, this meme that Jake just sent me, so I'm going to put it up real quick.
Okay.
They made of this.
I like memes.
I don't see anything that is beneficial to the Chicago Bears, though. Like, what they're getting out of financially when they could just build this whole area themselves better on more land with better transportation.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Adam. The whole idea of putting the dome on Soldier Field was crazy to begin with, and now, it's gonna be funny.
Also, the dome isn't on Soldier Field in the renderings.
Yeah.
So, now we. Where did this meme come from? Jake made this. Jake Flanagan. It's the Lori. Yeah. We have the Lori Dome.
The Lori Dome.
I love that. I think that's so cute.
That is amazing.
That's hilarious.
It's so funny.
Well, that's exactly what they're going to do. Right there. If you want to know what it could look like, that is it. Exclusive. Right here on the CHGO Bears Podcast.
Yeah. I think both of these sort of news items the last couple of days have just
news items you'll forget about.
Like, just proven how much of an uphill battle this really is for the city of Chicago. But credit to Danny Ecker for getting those renderings. His tweet, renderings of a transformed museum campus around Soldier Field from a Mayor Lightfoot working group. Northerly Island concert venue would be relocated to the stadium's north lawn, among other changes. I don't know.
It's a no for me, Adam.
That's a no for me, dog.
Yeah.
I like Enrique Rivera's optimism, by the way. He said if they had cut Wims the first time, then he wouldn't have dropped the playoff tutty.
Beautifully thrown ball.
Then Trubisky would have scored against the Saints early, and the Bears would have won the Super Bowl.
Boom. Don't forget the boom.
All right. I agree.
Connect dots.
Just like that.
Boom.
That works. Okay, we'll get to the Jets here in a second, but I do want to tell you that the best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app. Use code CHGO when you sign up, and if you do that right now, you'll get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. That's not it, because if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from the CHGO locker, all for making a $50 or more first-time deposit at PointsBet. Any questions, email pointsbet@allchgo.com. We will help you out. If you see an edge in the game you're watching, or if your favorite team is primed for a comeback, maybe like 5 comebacks, like in yesterday's Sox game.
Oh, yeah, that was nuts.
Don't just watch the game. You could bet along with it live. You could have, taken the odds every single time they were trailing. And then I would have said you're crazy for thinking they'd win, and then they did win. So good for them. How confident am I that they're going to win more than one game this weekend?
How confident are you at?
Not very. It's like when they took 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays and then won 1 game against the Orioles.
That's the White Sox in a nutshell.
Download the PointsBet app right now. Use promo code CHGO. Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services.
I have to tell you about our next partner, Athletic Greens. With 1 scoop of Athletic Greens, you are absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help start your day off right. This mixture of ingredients helps your immune system, gives you energy, and improves your focus, and that's why I take my Athletic Greens, and you should too. What's awesome about Athletic Greens is that it costs you less than a cup of coffee a day. Also, it helps support better sleep quality and recovery, which we all definitely need. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements, so look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. And here's what you have to do. Just visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Bears. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/CHGO Bears to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutrition insurance.
All right, the New York Jets. We are deep into the schedule now. Late November, I believe, this game will be played.
Yep.
Bears with 2 trips to New York this season, technically New Jersey. I don't even know if they step foot in New York.
I don't think so.
I think they probably stay out in New Jersey. They probably fly into New York. Just stay out there. Never even seen New York.
There you go.
Which is a bummer. That's not how you should do that trip, by the way, folks, if you happen to be going out there. I did once do that trip in one day.
Really?
I flew out into Newark. I mean, it's pretty easy to fly to New York. Went to Newark, Ubered to the stadium, Ubered back, got on a plane, was home in my own bed.
Wow. Traffic wasn't crazy or anything like that, or?
Oh, no, it worked out fine. I think I had a Northwestern game the day before, and so I couldn't fly out till the morning of the game. And you can get an early flight to New York. Well, at least you used to. I don't know about these days. Good luck flying in general these days. Maybe we might just want to drive. It'd be nice if we had like a high-speed train system.
That would be nice.
But we don't do that here.
Nope.
The Jets were 4-13 last year. Not very good, as you might know. Robert Saleh was in his first year as the head coach. He goes into year 2. We look at some of their key additions. They added safety Jordan Whitehead, cornerback DJ Reed, CJ Uzama, who had a good year last year with the Bengals. Yep. Their losses, some losses, but they, I think they upgraded in a lot of spots. Some minor upgrades, but they lose Marcus May, Jamison Crowder. Not even going to say that guy's name. Folorunsho Fatukasi?
Yeah, there you
Kasi?
go.
Pretty
Good job,
close.
Adam.
I'll take it.
Good job.
I'll give myself a B without even knowing the correct pronunciation. And then, of course, some key additions. They drafted cornerback Ahmad Gardner. Sauce, with their first pick. Then they also add Garrett Wilson, the wide receiver, and he's could be a factor. Coming back from injury, right? That was him?
Garrett Wilson, did he get injured? Justin Fields would know. It's his old teammate.
There were 6 wide receivers that tore their ACL in the draft this year. Not in the draft, but
Jameson Williams, we know from
Detroit.
Detroit.
Jameson Williams is the one I'm thinking of. I thought maybe I'm just making that up. Anyway.
A factor. I still think he would be a factor.
Yeah, getting a target, obviously, for Zach Wilson. This is an interesting team to me. I mean, I think that they've improved. I think they're going to be tougher to beat in games this year. And I still like Zach Wilson, too. We've talked about this.
Yeah, I like Zach Wilson, and you give him a big body target like a Garrett Wilson. I know a lot of Bears fans loved him, and probably very unrealistic for him to fall to Chicago, obviously with the Jets taking him with their second pick in the first round. But they have some guys that you could throw to. And then you end up, like Jeremy Rucker was a guy I like, too, out of Ohio State. Another 2 Buckeyes now on that offense for Zach Wilson. And again, Justin Fields was very familiar with those 2 guys. So I think, like you, they should be better. And if Bears fans are expecting similar things from Justin Fields, I'm sure Jets fans are expecting the same thing out of Zach Wilson in terms of the year 1 to year 2 jump. And that will be like the biggest storyline, obviously, going into this game, how these 2 quarterbacks go against each other, and who ultimately can lead their team to a victory.
Yeah. By the way, I was briefly confused with Jameson Williams.
Okay.
But there were 2 things that made me think he had an injury, too. One, he didn't play in the Rose Bowl. Then there was briefly like an injury scare that came across a couple weeks ago. I think in practice during the OTAs thing. But he's fine. He's good. The 10th overall pick in this year's draft, and we'll give Zach Williams a weapon to look at, not only to look at, but to throw to this year. And I just I think this is maybe the team that burns me the most this year, because I'm going to be like, okay, the Jets are going to get better, and then they might not because they're the Jets.
Yeah.
But I think this is a tough game.
Yeah, I'm looking at what they did last season. They had like those 4 wins. They beat the Titans, Bengals, Texans, and Jaguars. So you got a half and half good teams, half and half bad teams. They had their leading rusher, Michael Carter from UNC. So he led the team as a rookie in rushing yards, 639 yards, 4 touchdowns. You also had Elijah Moore, young player over there. So I was looking at some of the key players that they had, Adam.
Yeah.
Braxton Berrios.
Yeah.
All pro as a kick returner.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, wait, no, as a receiver, but 30.4 yards per kickoff, or per kick return, which is pretty damn good. No wonder he's an all-pro there. You also have on the defense side, C.J. Mosley, who led the team in tackles, 168. But, I think like the Bears, there's a lot of players that still need to prove themselves. There's a relatively young team. Obviously, you have Robert Saleh in his second year. I think if all things go well, they can definitely surprise some people. And I think it will be a game. Like any team going up against the Bears, that's going to be a competitive game because it's still the Chicago Bears we're talking about. But this is a team that if Zach Wilson takes that next step with a guy like Garrett Wilson, maybe a Braxton Berrios, and then TJ Uzama from Cincinnati last year, you can do some good things. And plus the Bryce Hall, the running back they got from Iowa State, so a really good running back too. So some good pieces along that offense that can definitely help out Zach Wilson.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is regardless, I mean, I might still have some questions about their defense, but adding Sauce Gardner first certainly helps. I'm intrigued to watch this offense. Like, first of all, I want to see Zach Wilson. What kind of step does he take this year? I think if you watch the back half of his rookie year, things did get better. But when you just look at what they did, don't forget Elijah Moore is there. He's somebody I really liked a year ago coming out, and I mean, that's intriguing to have Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore there together. Breece Hall, the running back out of Iowa State, was probably the most pro-ready back in the draft. And to add him where they did, I mean, they were really good, I feel like, with their first 3 picks. And he's probably going to slide right in as their starter, I think. Look at what they did at tight end. Not only just signing Uzoma, but Tyler Conklin comes over from Minnesota, too.
Good blocking tight end, yeah.
Yeah, and he's a guy who's been definitely a solid pro. And they also drafted Jeremy Ruckert out of Ohio State, too. So that tight end room saw a major overhaul, and it looks pretty good. I think the questions are obviously on their offensive line, and can they keep Zach Wilson healthy? But if they do come together, I think at a minimum, this is a sneaky fun offense to watch.
You know, and it could actually be similar to what the Bears are. It's Mike LaFleur as the offensive coordinator, who obviously has ties to San Francisco, which goes back with Luke, like that type of system, Atlanta. Right. So I wonder when we're watching this game, and we see that the Bears want to run the football, have some tight ends in that room. Obviously, Adam just kind of listed off some of the guys they have. I wonder if you're going to see almost similar types of offenses where 2 athletic quarterbacks and establishing the run, getting them out in space, and maybe opening some throwing windows. That's going to be interesting once it comes to Week 12, how both these offenses look and if they look similar or not, because some of the offensive coordinators that are running these 2 teams, they come from similar type of systems. Curious to see what those both look like come Week 12.
I think we did this one last week, but I'm going to ask you again. The line, early line, Week 12, Bears at Jets.
I definitely forgot. So this is like a whole.
We're doing it again.
The Jets are. So would it be -3? So Jets are favored.
Jets are favored by 2.5 on the early line.
And we did this not too long ago.
On the early line, they are favored by 3 a couple weeks later against the Lions. So take that, Don Burr. Half point worse. Take that. Let's look at the points bets. Look ahead on the to show you where
the Jets.
I don't know. The gambling market is looking at the Jets now. They are still plus 10,000 to win the Super Bowl, which is 26. So maybe we're overrating them a little bit, but maybe we're giving you some value too. They are I mean, I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, obviously. They are plus 6,600 to win the AFC, which puts them pretty much at the bottom in the AFC. To win the AFC East, they're just plus 1,800, which puts them last. And then the over-under is 5.5 with
over -160 and under plus 130 there.
Yeah, so that shows you think they might go over. Remember, the AFC's tougher.
Yeah.
So, you win 6 games in the AFC, it might still be towards the bottom. But I'd be inclined to bet the over, I think.
Yeah, I'm pulling up their schedule real quick just to kind of see. Okay, they open up against the Ravens. No. Browns? I mean, with the situation they're in right now? Okay. The Bengals, they play this obviously Steelers, Dolphins, Packers, Broncos, Patriots, Bills. Hey, look, the Bears. November 27th. Vikings, Bills. Yeah, those Bills games. Not going to go the Jets' way. Lions, that can be a win. Jaguars can be a win. Seahawks can be a win. So, how many did I say? Maybe like 4 or 5?
You got to win in 12 games.
Yes.
Good job.
Yep, that's exactly what's
happening. They won 4 games last year. Can they be 2 wins better? I feel like it.
Yeah, if they could beat the Browns.
I feel like they're 2 wins better, even in the in the AFC. So we'll have to see. I think this is an impossible game though to predict. Like, it's late November. We don't know how these offenses are going to come together. I guess I'm inclined to take the Jets here. But like many of these rookie quarterbacks that we keep talking about, it's going to be another fascinating matchup.
It is going to be another
I keep calling them
matchup.
rookie quarterbacks. They're really all sophomore quarterbacks.
Yes.
Put them that way.
It'll be fun to watch.
All right. Talk to us about getting an edge today.
Ooh, how can they start that edge? With Strava CBD coffee. Because, you guys, it's a game changer. It's helped thousands of people to improve their overall wellness and quality of life. Strava delivers delicious, fresh roasted specialty coffee infused with organic broad spectrum CBD. And as you know, CBD from hemp doesn't make you high or hungry, but it does offer real benefits that can help you. Like feeling alert and focused without the jitters, living your day more balanced with less anxiety and fewer aches and pains. Plus, including CBD in your daily routine can even help you enjoy more restful sleep so you wake up feeling at your best. And the best part about all of this, Strava is all about quality. Everything is small batch, fresh, and shipped straight to your door. Strava also offers concentrated full spectrum CBD tinctures for those looking for a more traditional CBD format with a powerful entourage effect of benefits. CHGO listeners can save 25% off their entire purchase when you use code CHGO25. That's 25% off your entire order at StravaCraftCoffee.com when you use the code CHGO25 at checkout. Do you already love Strava? Of course you do if you listen to the podcast here at CHGO. Well, you can subscribe and save with the Strava Coffee Club. With Strava, you are in control. Save on your favorite coffees and have them automatically delivered to your home or office on your preferred schedule.
All right. We told you yesterday that we had a second player we were going to preview. We had to push it back to today because there ended up being so much news to talk about. And I also teased at the end of the show that we would be into the long-term starter category. So we start that today with a wide receiver, believe it or not, Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney comes in just above that 3 number that gets you into that higher category of starter, the type of players you want to lock up long term. And really, all he's done in 2 years so far is make you think that he should be a player that sticks around for a really, really long time. Great debut as a rookie 2 seasons ago as a 5th-round pick, too. And then he was just even better last season as we look at some of his numbers and what he did. But 81 catches last year for a little over 1,000 yards and 4 touchdowns. Obviously, the team's best wide receiver, which we didn't go into the year thinking. We thought that was Allen Robinson. And Allen Robinson had a down year while Darnell Mooney continued to ascend. Hasn't missed a game in 2 seasons, so his durability has been very good. And while you do have questions, and we'll talk about it here, about can Mooney be a true number 1, if he's been able to do what he did the last 2 seasons in an offense that completely fell apart, yes, he had Allen Robinson there to take some attention away from him, and he'll have to overcome that. But if the Bears really put in a better scheme and the quarterback plays better, because they haven't really had good quarterback play the last 2 years either, you think that would kind of balance out. Yes, he's got to do more. Yes, he's going to face tougher coverages. Yeah, there's not a lot of wide receivers around him that are necessarily dangerous, although we'll see if Velus Jones Jr. can kind of be the next Darnell Mooney who, takes some pressure off right away as a rookie. I don't see any reason why Darnell Mooney can't replicate what he's already done, if not continue to get even better.
And the thing is, too, I like the one note you had there, Adam, like the durability. Like, this isn't a big guy, but yet when you see him make catches over the middle of the field, he does know how to protect his body. He's not leaving himself susceptible to those big hits, and that's why he has played every game and has been there when the Bears need him. Availability is the biggest thing for a lot of the Bears players. Darnell Mooney has definitely shown that, and he's been the bigger part of some of the explosive plays. Some of the explosive plays that have happened in this Bears offense, you can usually look to number 11 and Darnell Mooney creating some of them in the game against the Baltimore Ravens, when you take a simple screen pass and it's actually blocked up well, Mooney's able to capitalize and get a deep touchdown off of it. So I like a lot of what he's already done, and one of the commenters said, does the blocking factor into this? For him being the size that he is, Darnell Mooney is a very willing blocker and knows how to just play within himself. You don't see him get any of those holding calls along the edge, and that's what you want to see out of a guy. He's willing to do everything. He took the jet sweep against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So he caught a touchdown, and then he had one of those end-around type of plays. So very willing to do everything, and if this offensive scheme can actually even cater more to his strengths, why can't he replicate those numbers like you were saying, Adam? He has all the tools. It's just, I think, not having Allen Robinson, even though he had a down year, teams do have to look to Allen Robinson to play coverage around him. So it does leave Darnell Mooney a little bit more wide open, but that's what Luke Getsy's going to have to figure out, and I'm sure he's going to move him around this entire offense on any given play.
And to answer that question, yes, blocking is factored into this. Absolutely, that is, especially on running plays that end up out. Every single play is graded out, with the exception of obviously not necessarily knowing everyone's assignment on every play, but because I don't have a playbook. But with that understanding, if a wide receiver makes a nice block or misses a key block on a run, absolutely at the point of attack, that is factored in. And Mooney is certainly, I agree with you, a willing blocker and does a pretty good job on the outside for his size. And you love to see that, and you just love to see his attitude. Though he's already become a leader on the team, continually trying to get better. I think that he and Justin Fields should be a great pairing this season.
And another thing too is like whenever we talk to Darnell Mooney too, like he's always giving thoughtful responses, actually answering the questions and seeming like just engaged with everybody. But yeah, he's a good guy. He's committed. Being a 5th-round draft pick, he always has that edge, and you see that on the field. The one area like that I would still like to see him improve upon, like he had 4 drops last season. Some of those drops happen like on third. There's the Tampa Bay game where he has a bad drop on a 3rd and 2. The series ends, and it's like Darnell Mooney. We know Darnell Mooney can make that catch. So even though it's only 4, it's like I know that he can still improve upon that himself. But as now the number 1 for the Bears offense, just continue to work off of different techniques to get off of the line of scrimmage, because he's going to probably get pressed a lot. Testing out that strength, that play durability, play strength. So seeing if he can improve, if he can do that, take that jump in now year 3, Darnell Mooney has a shot to, again, replicate those numbers, even maybe add a few more touchdowns, because first year and the second year he's had 4. Maybe can have a little bit more this year.
All right. That's our wrap-up on Darnell Mooney. Before we get out of here, though, we will have another player tomorrow, by the way. There's a little bit more coming out on this proposal from actually, I missed this story yesterday. This is coming from the Sun-Times, and let's see the authors on this as I'm kind of reading this on the fly, but Fran Spielman and David Roeder saying that a working group has a host of ideas that could break the bank and transform the lakefront experience. Putting a dome on Soldier Field, expanding stadium concourses, adding more seats and more premium seats, replacing the natural grass with synthetic turf. Boy, that's overdue. And selling naming rights may only be the beginning. An Excel spreadsheet shared with the Sun-Times and considered by the working group has plenty of other ideas. So I think it's important to point out these are just ideas.
Use Excel.
Aerial gondolas and or a monorail using clean energy, a tourist attraction hotel with a Disney feel, transforming Solidarity Drive into a pedestrian plaza, removing Burnham Harbor and replacing it with parking. How are they going to get to the parking, though, if Solidarity Drive's gone?
They didn't think of that and put it in the Excel sheet. I can tell you that.
Floating pavilions. Okay.
Floating pavilions. There was a commenter actually on the last show. It's like, just put Soldier Field in the middle of the ocean. Have it float there.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, Lake Michigan, sorry.
I mean, it might as well be an ocean. I've heard worse ideas.
How long did they say until it's like built? What's like the timeline?
Infinity.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's like a really big project.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nobody knows. I mean, I guess it'd be less of a project than building a brand new stadium out in Arlington Heights, but the Bears have a lease there. They have somewhere to play.
Right.
They're the ones that are going to have to break the lease eventually, and the longer it takes to build the stadium, actually, the less they're going to have to pay in breaking the lease. So, here's who's this person? Hang on here. Friends of the Park Executive Director Juanita Irizarry, I hope I'm saying that wrong, is a member of the working group, and was also against the plan, that old plan to bring the Lucas Museum, remember, to that museum campus. She's a member of the working group, and according to this report from the Sun-Times, is not aware of any draft report by the working group.
Put stuff in the Excel spreadsheet. Come on, keep putting things in there.
Pressed on whether Friends of the Parks would tolerate replacing Burnham Harbor with parking, she said, "It sounds ridiculous. It also does not sound like a conversation that I've been a part of. The lakefront is an important jewel for the city, and I am not confident that anyone is having conversations about paving over the lake."
Honestly, they just got this Excel spreadsheet. Here, put ideas in it. Put ideas in it and leak it out. That's what's happening.
Paving over the lake.
Someone said just build a new stadium on top of the Sears Tower.
Yeah, that was probably in the Excel spreadsheet. Put it in there.
Fun.
I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of ideas on the sheet.
Yeah. Everything, just put it in there.
All right. Well, we'll have more on this in the days that come. There's a lot more in here. Do want to give the Sun-Times proper credit. Again, these all sound like ideas. Many of them, quite frankly, a little bit crazy. But at least they're talking about it. They got to do something. I don't know who's paying for all this. And I think the biggest thing that we go back to the beginning of the show is I don't know how any of this benefits the Bears.
Yeah.
Like, it benefits the city to have all this down there. And there's going to be give and take. I don't know that you want to get rid of Burnham Harbor. It's beautiful. That part's actually hilarious to me because all this talk about you have to have the lakefront. Don't want to leave the lakefront. All these shots on TV of the lakefront. Well, now we're paving over the lakefront to keep the team there?
That'll make sense to the city.
Okay. Come on now. Burnham Harbor's great, too. A little hard to get to, but I think there's a lot of boaters that'd be unhappy that have to move their boat.
What a guess. A secret stadium to be accessed via Hyperloop underneath area Portillo's.
Oh.
Okay. I like it. Just keep putting creative ideas.
Yeah. All right. Fun show. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a happy hour Friday.
Ooh.
I like it. Will be with us, too. Will DeWitt would be here on a Friday. And let's see. Who's next on the preview? Jets today. Eagles tomorrow. The Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
And I have another player in that long-term starter category. So we'll break all that down for you as well. Make sure you're following us on Twitter. I'm at Adam Hoge. He's at Nicholas Moreano. At CHGO_sports_Bears. Make sure you are following those accounts. Check out all the shows we have here at CHGO. Got a lot planned. NHL draft later today, so keep it tuned on the YouTube channel for all of our coverage. And please rate and review the podcast if you consume it that way. Check out allchgo.com. Grab those memberships, the merchandise. It's all up there. We'll have more shirts coming as we get closer to football season. Hope you enjoy your Thursday. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 1 o'clock.